Welcome to the program. My name is Mankota. You are watching the TPN TV and Radio Network, coming to you live from the United States of America. Today we get two segments we will get for do, and probably we'll be able to divide them into 30 minutes, or maybe depending on which segment we discuss more. But we will try for make sure we make 1 hour, the most 1 hour 30 minutes today. And we first segment get for do with the coronavirus. We always for now in the main topic of the week. Then after that, we talk a little bit about the courts case where been go on as alone between the NRM, a subsidiary of the APC, versus the APC leadership, where the courts give verdicts yesterday. These are the two segments we'll get for talk about today. So let me start with the first one, where the coronavirus. A lot of people then they follow up waiting they go on with the coronavirus. Let me make sure the one the way they watch in Facebook, then we're able I will able to see them comments where they make. So a lot of una they see the way the progression of the coronavirus, and a very, very heartrending for see places where the cases were very, very low are becoming, a problem. For example, in Sierra Leone, right? Sierra Leone, we know, about a week or two ago, it was about how much? 11 cases. Now we are looking at 82 cases as of today, and we don't get 2 deaths. That is very, 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 very bad, right? And you look at the United States of America, you find out that it's a problem. Definitely, it's a big, big problem. In any case, now the world today gets at least a case. For example, in the United States, we are very close now to, 1 million cases. Right now, we get about 945,833 cases. Just for the new cases will take place about a day or two ago is about 20,601 new cases in the United States alone. And well, the death rate is now stand at 53,266 cases. This is very, very bad. The global confirmed cases is now 2,893,234 cases. Wow. We are moving towards 3 million. And the death rates globally, we are now standing at 201,671 cases. People that will recover globally from this case, cases here, globally, now 825,074 cases. Now they recover. Right as we talk, that's now the live data we get. Now, let me look at the rates in which the cases are coming on globally. As we all know, we get about over 2,900,000 cases. We get just over 200,000 dead, and the one they will recover now about 825,000, right? And out of that, when you look at that, the people that will get mild symptoms where some people the symptoms that are not so severe to the extent that you feel say yes, you actually get the disease. Now about 1,808,356, which is about 97%. So the people that were infected with this disease, will get this disease, where they not get symptoms or then get mild symptoms, now about 97% of the total amount of cases. The one that will get serious symptoms is only about 3%. I think we talked about this also last week, and the reason we make re-emphasize this, we repeat this, for let everybody be aware. It don't mean say because you don't get symptoms, so therefore you don't get this virus. This is the problem. So we not get symptoms. There is no way we will able to exclude ourselves for say we don't get this virus. So the only way we were able to exclude ourselves for say we don't get this virus now through testing. That's not the thing. This way we emphasize this, because sometimes a lot of people then say, I don't get these symptoms, so therefore I don't get this virus. This virus is very, very dangerous. It's very, very sneaky, and that's not the problem that one day we right now the world is facing. If 97% of the cases they not get no symptoms or mild symptoms, sometimes just like a headache or a small cough or something like that, mild symptoms, then it is very obvious the number of infected cases worldwide may be triple than the current number we see, so the 2.8 million people we don't infected. And if you look at the United States, 1/4 of the infected cases come from the United States of America, and will not even start the statewide testing at all. This now make the experts then they talk say the only way we will sure say as this virus is declining or is limited to the people that we get the symptoms or the people that we don't identify now through a universal testing or global testing. In the United States, statewide testing. And based on some of the data where they come out in the United States of America, we don't confirm say when a state they do statewide testing, randomly testing, then they get more cases than the one where they just wait past somebody sick, he get the severe symptoms, he go to the hospital then test her. The data already don't show that say that's not the case. And if we look at that and try for compare that worldwide, then we are in a big mess. The good news is 80 to 85% of the people that will get the cases, then they recover. 80% recover and discharge. And that's not the good news that one day. Because based on the sneakiness of this virus, if now the other way around, then this virus would have been a threat. Americano, hold on, let me bring in Americano. All right, hold on, let me just bring in Americano quickly. Oh, God. So that's not the good news. Let's look at the Ebola in 2015, now West Africa, where we know say about 70 to 80% of the people them were actually contracted with Ebola end up dead. If this virus was severe like that, then this would have been a threat to humanity. We don't want to go yet now who do or who did what. That's not the thing right now we want to talk about. But just imagine a virus like this is threatening the existence of humanity today. This tells you that we the humans, we need to be very careful. This now a warning God is trying to send to us. We are so indebted, so obsessed with creating dangerous stuff. You talk about nuclear weapons, we're able to wipe off the entire earth, the entire world, in a split of a second. We just did create bad thing. Well, talking about that, first of all, let me congratulate all the Muslims that are around the world, because now Ramadan month, and I know say everybody will stay safe, stay in your house, pray in your house, not go to mosque because it's not safe at all. Mosque is not safe at this time. Church is not safe at this time. So stay home. It is very, very important. Now, the reason why to make I bring in religion, there's a deep reason, and I believe say people that way Muslims they will learn the Quran, then go correct me if I'm wrong. I remember in Surah Al-Baqarah, the creation of Adam, right? Based on the Islamic perspective, historical perspective, which in the Quran tell we in Surah Al-Baqarah, you say, God way want for create man, he go meet the angels and tell them, say, Inni ja'ilu fil ardi khalifa, I want to create a vicegerent. A vicegerent is somebody like a deputy. Okay, that is Adam. So God from the onset see we the human beings as deputy to him. And when you go to the Bible also, he also tried to reconcile that too. He say he creates mortal man in his own image. So but the part where I want to focus on right now compared to what we are seeing today in the world is the sneakiness, the greediness, the devastating things and way obey you and worship you. Why you want to go create somebody again where they can't shed blood in this world? You see? All the bad things the way they happen in this world, where now we the humans and they cause them bad things then the angels they may not warn God about this. Yes, if what the people that they talk about not true, we already don't know say the most destructive elements, species now the entire world, now we the human beings them. Now we are the most destructive elements now this world. I don't see no reason why they go create a biological weapon. I know not for help humanity, but for destroy humanity. You create a biological weapon for waiting. For waiting. And look at waiting that happened today. Everybody is suffering. We are suffering. I think this now a warning way God they try for tell you say you guys need to be careful or else we not get for destroying ourselves. God don't do what he get for do for humanity. He don't give you the best knowledge. He don't give you the sense we get sense pass. He don't elevate we above the other species like animals. But instead of using that opportunity where God give we they use that for destroy. We save because also God will destroy. Now we self will destroy. This is the problem we will get. Imagine this particular virus would have been like the coronavirus. That would have been a big problem. Big problem. So I say the Ebola virus. If this would have been like the Ebola virus, who we know for sure, it's going to take about 80% or so above, where the people that weigh the Ebola, they catch, then they die. Now the same thing with the corona. This would have wiped out a chunk of humanity. It is a disaster. Now let me come to Sierra Leone. Right now we get about 82 cases and 2 deaths as of today, right now. And when you look at just about a week ago, remember when, in fact, last week when we've been the broadcast, and you look at that, you find out, say, well, the jump is too much, too high, you know. Let me just show you now a graphic of how the coronavirus jumps Sierra Leone very quickly. And now the danger part is, it's not only within the urban area, the western urban and rural area. Now we don't start for see, then cases here pop up na upline like Chonkolili. But let me give you now a graphical presentation of how this coronavirus, I think within the 80s right now. Hold on, let me just give you another graphic quickly. Sierra Leone. So, what do we try for talk about? I think we are losing, well, it's too early to say so, but I think it's better for make we sound the alarm. It seems like we are losing the battle slowly. And it is a very, very dangerous thing because considering the health, situation of the country, it will be very, very dangerous if we lose a battle like this. Okay, yeah, Sierra Leone. In April the 3rd, now we begin see a climb to the cases the world will see so. Now from April the 3rd, now we begin see a climb, and the climb continue. Now we get today. Yesterday was 24th. Now we get 82 cases and 2 deaths already. Now the same thing here we get. You see, the 24th, yesterday was one of the highest amount of new cases, as we have seen at the graph here, one of the highest. So you see how we dey lose now. We don't see cases don't start for pop up now. Put local cases don't start for pop up now. Tonkolili, and other places, Kenema, all them places here cases begins for pop up now. Then here then they. Now, this now the problem. Now they will get concern. Because when you start to see some of them here, you realize there's a big problem right now. We need for take care of. Because if we able to contain the disease just within a specific district, I think that's going to be a good thing, right? If like we don't see us, we don't again most of the cases in na not even able to count how many deaths we will get, because there were people who have been dying at the villages when they just bury them. They don't know, people don't know at all. So then they just bury them. So that's not the problem that one day, So I think the committee where President Bio don't set up for strategize for the corona, I think they need for go sit down and check again. They need for re-strategize again, and because it seems like Poloko, already don't get case. Tonkolele, who saw me come out, don't get case. Outside of the western area, how concerned are you with these cases popping up now upline?
Thank you, Mr. Mankota. The concern here is the testing locations and professionals there where they do these tests, whether they are qualified and they know what they look for. But the most important thing is the machine, the equipment for the people there. Because even here in America, as you mentioned, if you know, people they were, even with the president and press briefing now, if you go online, that people may carry this thing, but they're not able to get the symptoms right away. So measures should not be for this thing. So it's only based on isolation. But when you call free talk or you see things in social media, I don't think they are really enforcing the isolation as it happened to you in Arizona or Austria and Texas. I mean, because here, for some reason, either the idea is no one died, or because of our mentality, as you say, Saloma, we are lawless, as they say, that are they really following the guidelines? Say, oh, I have to stay away from this or that, and use them as care and so on. So every Sierra Leonean should be very much concerned, more so for Sierra Leone than even those of us who, by God in power, fortunate for the advanced world. Because here, if anything happens, say the technology, the 911 system or whatever they, and it is very troubling. It's worrisome, and I believe, say the president, the government just get for continue for put mechanism where go make people they adhere to the guidelines, the way the health professionals, the way they get as well. Don't put out for say now this for this, now this for this, now this for this. And whichever they are getting help from money, that money for use judiciously for the purpose of this only, rather than yeah, do they have the testing machine, the testing mechanism? For these people, I can tell from the list, some of them, they are not health professionals. But it doesn't really matter. Maybe they know, but the places of Yonibana, Roroks, and Rokulang or Daru, do they have something where if something person feel, feel better and be able to rush out? Not every village could get machine, obviously. Even here, no, because we don't reach that level. But do they have machines where they be able to test somebody right away? Because if a machine is only in McKinney, but the rest of Bambali, there are no other testing. Well, you have places, Common Create or McKinney Town, it's almost 45 minutes to an hour. So we don't know. And how the people are able to protect them. So everybody has to be concerned and not pray for the country. Let the devastation way happen at Ebola, even come close. It's not encouraging in the sense don't get me wrong, we have to get and the number of people citizens we don't get infected. And in some area we have to commend the president. We act on it right away. Because if you look at neighboring two countries, I think they have worse situation than ours. So the government needs to be commended in that area. Thank you so much.
All right, so now we go to Mr. Kabo. Mr. Kabo, considering the fact that, yes, we know the government is doing its level best for medical and contain. If you know the talk, just mute your phone. For the fact that the government is doing its level best, like what Mr. Abdul said, yes, we're not going to blame the government because this is this is a difficult, virus for facts. Any government within a power could, do the same thing like what this government they do. So, what in your own opinion on whether the committee will then set up for, strategize for, fight this coronavirus nas alone? What in your own opinion? Which side do you think is supposed for, modify or switch a little bit, adjust a little bit, because since the virus don't begin pop up also na salon. The upline. Hold on, let me just.
Salam alaikum to everybody and those who are observing month of Ramadan. May God give them the blessing of the month of Ramadan. And having said that, the next thing I have to say is coronavirus is real. I live in New York City. I'll give you a little snapshot of what is synopsis of what is New York like. As I'm talking to you, I'm in my house. Everybody lives in your house now. Guaranteed, you work at home, no schools. The children go to school in the house. The teachers communicating with them through online. And I'll tell you that I'm talking to Sierra Leoneans, those who are in denial, those who have the carefree, give them splash dance attitude. As well, will not say we don't have that here, but this is the effort everybody has to make. Let you try as much as you go. If you die now, you're still trying, then go say you don't try. One 116 people don't die of yesterday. I mean, from the time it started up to yesterday, 16,000 and more.
And just in New York, no.
Just New York, out of the 52 states. This passed China, it passed Italy, it passed everywhere in the world. And yesterday, thank God, well, I could say thank God, but you might say, oh, why you say thank God? Because the previous days before yesterday, we were having 760-something deaths per day. Now, up to yesterday, we have 422. Should we say thank God? Well, to some extent, because it's going down.
Yeah.
But yet still, it's worse. So it's no joke. If you feel that today in Sierra Leone, everything you pick the phone, when the government say do this, you say no, you don't want to do this. You pick the community, you come online, the people like the people that will get the unequal race, plus that give a damn attitude. And the community or the committee formed by the president from district to district or province to province is very vital. I think the government is doing all it can. If you think events, and we have what we call circumstances. Even in New York, in America, the most developed part of the world, people that they died through circumstances. Right? There are some people who are actually not dying by coronavirus. Maybe they are diabetic or they have breathing problems, which is natural to them, or maybe they have high blood pressure or hypertension or whatever precondition they have, then they die. And they would have not died if this corona no day, but because of this corona, they become victims of circumstance. The same thing they happen at Sierra Leone. If they tell you will go test you, not begin the Allah. You are just a victim of the circumstance to say they pick you up to go test you. Because I listened to a video where a lady was causing problems, then call them, they say, let them go test her and carry them go to the hospital, they behave. Why can't you just comply? For make them test you or let them quarantine you for making them save your life, whether you want to prove, what you do in New York, we want to prove whether I'm corona positive or corona negative. So nobody has to tell me. But if somebody comes tell you, hey, bruh, just comply. The success of the committee formed by the president lies wholly and solely on the people in the country. We have two types of people when this case comes in. We don't exist in Sierra Leone. Then when the way you go to ring, I'll speak it in English. That is that shouldn't even be politicized. So these are the two people this committee gets to face, and it's going to be a big battle. And if that is so, I'm so sorry to Sierra Leone. As you see the thing, they go up. And if you guys don't stop and don't question yourself and don't think that it is your liberty and democracy, that's my right, I can go out to work, or the government don't give me food, I have to feed myself. There are certain times there is no law There are certain times there is no condition. There are times when we all know we live in Sierra Leone. Sometimes our parents don't even have. We have to sleep without food, maybe 2 or 3 days, but yet still we obey. If you politicize that for your own life, woe unto you. I'm sorry for you. And the disease is spread. The worst part of it is that, which my fellow Sierra Leoneans, when they're inside the country, don't understand, is that let me talk about the youth, the young guys there. To extent, the older people they die more than the younger ones because they are young and very energetic and all have all the ingredients you can think of in their body, still working because they are young, as compared to the older people. I'm not saying the corona not to kill younger people; it kills them, but the rate at which it kills them is more than the rate. I mean, it's less than the rate of the older people. I mean, older people die more, and it's anywhere from 50 onwards. They die faster than the younger ones, less than that. And when you go out to the street as a young boy, you think, oh, I'm young. When you contracted father disease to her, now you're killing your aunt. And this is for the youth because they don't understand when you tell them don't go out. It's not about you. It's about your parents, about other parents, the people, the cool people in your family. This comes into the youth can spread it very easily because they always get in contact with their parents, their fathers, their mothers, their uncles, their aunts, older people. They always contact them. And while them, probably their system, the immune system will be able to fight the disease better as to the older person.
Okay.
And then take this, okay? There's no medication for that.
All right.
Don't tell me the Western world. We don't have it. There is no medication. It's just a behavior. It's just an attitude. It's a way in which you will put yourself together. Maybe we're not even sure. It's just like even Prophet Muhammad's talker. And thank God we quote in these verses or these words of the prophet because we are in the month of Ramadan. So we mix them together. Because similar things have come. The prophet tell us, according to the imams, there will be the pray order. And didn't tell us, you're not sure if you wait that they save, they go to hell. He was not sure.
Okay.
And me no will say I go discredit the government the application or the no will do that. Then also when they talk about saying waiting will they look for waiting the government for do, the government gets for do more. Because this particular disease here, not a disease we all forsake as a joke because we know the same, we don't know we don't know how they affect creatures. But one thing when we go on for belief, it's unfortunate that we don't deforest we own country. We don't destroy always to be get. Because let me say this something, you mentioned something. God give you wisdom and understanding. That wisdom and understanding, God give you always to need Africa. we get in Africa, if you go back, we get the plants, with the healing plants them. We get all the things in Africa. And I want to believe in my own mind, say, we get certain plants in Africa, people have not used before. We get all the little diseases. And because if we go back, members, say, we don't get a fancy hospital in Sierra Leone. But because we parents, they maintain them small, herbal them, we they use for sustainability, it keeps we going. Corona. Because if what the woman said, she was right. So it puts the government, guys, talking about millions of dollars where they don't give them for create these activities. When we talk about well over $100 million in Sierra Leone, it's a lot of money. By now, government for them make makeshift facilities there, more people is here. With equipment them already in a different parts of the country, not hospital no more. Not hospital, just areas where people are not accessible to good roads to go to their space. They put on build makeshift facilities, them all other areas, and they have a lot of money. Because if you look at this country here, so a simple tents, they put on. Simple tents, they put them up, they set up areas then, they get technicians, then we know what they are doing, and then they go and test people then. So what do we for say? Me not go continue to applaud the government, say that they do anything right. Until I see out my own eyes, I see certain type of improvement, I see facilities then, we will not say these are facilities in Kenema, ones in facilities in Kenema or Bo or Kailau. No, we cannot with the amount of money they already got. So we need to put pressure to government for side to do that. How do they test them testing machine? How they look at the testing machine are good? Who sign at the labs there wouldn't go test things there? So these are the kind of questions we for the ask. We for begin asking that kind of question. And let's see who side the testing here. So we not see. We the compliment government no more, but we even with what I tell them that they don't go tell you say they don't go outside in the test. Outside and they go test you, then they go prove that the lab say you are positive or negative. We don't even have all of the above. So when people applaud, I go ask the people in the country, make them go back to the farm, make them go back to natural herbs that we used to do for protect their life. But for me, I don't see government prove or show anything serious yet. So me go ask the people of the country, you know, go back, you know, go plant boku moringa, you know, go plant boku lemongrass, you know, go plant boku denbanga, you know, go use that for protect yourself. Now that's not me go bring on the table right now until me see what in government they do to the people in their life. Thank you very much.
Let me go to Ahmed Kanu. Ahmed Kanu, go ahead and let's hear from you. What's your own take on this?
Okay, good afternoon. Ramadan Mubarak to all the listeners. Me on take on this, Mankuta, first and foremost. If don't learn from the Ebola problem. Now, voting for the new forget contingencies, voting how forget preparedness. Since that time, the Chinese alone could really pay attention to the kind of epidemic or pandemic, if at all would they forget another. Now, from what I see, is nothing much. And not to way something happen, at the time you they prepare, at the time you they go ahead for let you take care of them. You may be able to do that, but it will take some time for plan, for implement, and for see there is success. So we don't run into them problems. They are already they face right now. We can't do much. Okay, that's not the first thing. Now the second thing, how we go approach the present situation. The way we see this, the people them are already, a lot of them, and at the city, the rural areas are frightened. They don't talk about this vaccine we get for them, and when a vaccine we very dangerous, the test and so on and so forth. You get a lot of people that were not ready for undergo any kind of vaccine. That's not the whole thing. You get
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
you get a lot of people there not to vaccine no more. They're not even ready for the test because they are now in the mood of panic. They're in the mood of fear. For say, even when they test them with the equipment where they will take test them, the equipment will probably go be so sophisticated that you go do something to them. So that's the other thing. Even the one I'm talking about, even the literate people there. The literate, I'm not talking about the literate. They themselves get suspicion already. Their equipment and maybe they try for do some kind of addiction of population so people then will die. You know, the literate have that content already. That conviction is there. So for let we go even be successful to do test in Sierra Leone at this time with all the publicity who don't go out there, the negative and the positive ones, they don't put with people there in a situation where very, very difficult. That's not the first thing. for see God
create somebody where they can In some cases, yeah, but particularly when it comes to this type of disease, the best protector is you. So the government can do much, but if you will not comply with waiting, they benefit you, they protect you, then the government effort is meaningless. So that's, I think, a very good education we don't put today to una. Hopefully, una get for listening to that. Now, let we come back a little bit, because throughout the couple of weeks, we've not been to talk about politics at all. But as you all know, politics is part of us, not so. And especially if something come up where this media gets responsibility, not only for reports good news, but also for reports bad news and for educate. That's now your motto down there. You report good and bad news and you educate. Okay. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday or so, we all know, say, the APC party, William party, then they accord with one of the subsidiary when the NRM, the National Reformation Movement, for people that we not really understand what's in the going, we not been follow up. I believe, say, everybody we they listen to we or they watch we know the story, but before the convention put local, the NRM gonna court and put an injunction to that convention. So the court actually grants them the okay for make them put an injunction. So the convention was postponed indefinitely, and so then gonna court, the APC leadership lawyers, they actually counter sue for, say, first of all, the court we're supposed for listening to the case, hear the case, and not get the authority for do that. Then the second one, then say the NRM, we now the subsidiary of the APC, they not get the right or the authority for make them sue, because they are not part of the APC party. NRM is not part of the APC party, according to the lawyers of the APC party. So yesterday, that case, they go to court, and they actually rebuff all those two, claim by the lawyers of the APC, and that's not something we get for reports. In as much as very, very disturbing, but we get for report that, because that's not so unethical, media they do. Not so for say, even if something we court for nearly 5 years or so, right? Sherry Kamal, Eddie Toure, and the other folks where they put then Anes by Koroma and a court because of, let me just remove this, hold on, let me just remove this corona data. So, and when a courts, when they stop the convention for which in that constitution says that, thank God, and now we have to go back to the old constitution, and that is good for we. That is hypocrisy. It tells people like we so that our leaders are not actually genuine for make sure say real reforms take place now within the William party, and that is destroying this party. That's destroying the fabric of our party. It's very, very sad. But in any case, because of time, let me bring in commentators then, and I will start from back to Mr. Abdul. Mr. Abdul, looking at this, if you get anything you want to say, what's in your own advice?
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
Well, my advice is I would say let them go able to resolve the issue amicably. Make them sit down, they can use one word, adjective, the ego. Both parties have to put their ego set away, egotistical behavior, excuse me, I didn't talk for myself, away and focus on the common goal. And that is the party is bigger than any individual, including Sheikh Stevens, where I found a father. So once they're able to get that at the back of their mind, then they will sit down and they negotiate. Because everywhere in the world, even governments, that's why we have diplomacies for your interest and when I can, when I negotiate. You know, now, again, you can bring it back to even in legal issues where you commit a crime, the prosecutor, they tell you, say, well, the defense, they say, oh, my client, you want to talk, but you don't want the death penalty if you take for even during the days of Sheikh Stephen when he was a God-fearing guy, that politics is gone. Nobody will succumb to that anymore. Therefore, these older folks, for understand, say, yes, I mean, I am in my 70s or I am in my late 60s, make I get the younger folks. They are now well educated. Some of them don't go to school past we said the big one there. You know, because most of them, this page suicide and they make small mistakes because perhaps we are more wiser by virtue of age and we lifetime in politics. But if you want to say no, let them go to other folks, you and I, then it will be a problem. Equally, so we back where now the younger generation, we have to give them the respect. We get for no say them one now big one, you know, we get for talk to them with respect. We don't go to disgrace them no more and what's not because during the days when things were hard, yes, so
Poro Bush can go talk about that because Poro Bush now one of the best places for talk cases, you know, during we on time, you know.
I know they go back into the hill because I know I'm for day much take time. But when we lost elections, they decided to find out why the elections were lost. Now, some people then they guess everything and say, well,
not able to put the executive mind together. Say, listen to me. We serve as responsible at this party, just like the NRM, just like the so-called executive them now. So what do they do? The way we see how they go, it don't make sense. We need to call the people here to include and to serious-minded and fair-minded people together. We go sit on a table like this, no one go sit on a table like this, but they're not doing it. You see, Mr. Kanu, we go sit on a table and say, listen to me, we are not going to come here because I know you are my friend, or you are my cousin. No. Let's can't talk about the welfare of this party. What they go on so, we self not going to accept that. Or the party to fall. And we don't want to let the party fall. One of the people in the waste time would have provide the institution. Two people in the waste their money unnecessarily will not make sense. And mark my word, at the end of the day, after they don't waste all their money done, then they come back and sit down cancel. So why don't we find the best method? And I will always hold the as responsible and weak participants there. You know, where not they try to speak up to power and call power and the necessary authorities and say, listen, why can't the diaspora call the secretariat of the, or we write a collective information to the secretariat and say, listen, we cannot accept this thing keep going on. Whatever these guys are saying, let's all look at it. If it is for the betterment of the party, let's use it. And just like that man say, the NRM member they was supposed to respect them, people that will be the old institution, and other people and then the party as advisor. As a young people and take this party forward. Why can that not happen? You know that. So in this kind of issue, we don't know what people say anymore. We don't watch no more and see who's going. Yeah. You know, but what people try to say over and over, the diaspora and political institutions, they are all waste of time. So if they are waste of time, you're not going to expect.
You know, that make credibility, transparency, accountability, and self-respect now a foundation for mortal man. You know, the problem, what you talking through, I come to Mr. Kagbo, but I just want to respond this quick. But I mean, what you talking through? The diaspora are supposed to be play crucial role in this kind of situation within William Party. But the biggest problem is the diaspora destroyed itself long time ago because of certain members within the diaspora where, number one, either they don't understand themselves, they don't know their power, and lack self-respect. Because you live, for example, you live in the United States of America, you get a job, no matter how bad that job day is, it able make you able feed you picking them. You get outside the sleep and you do anything what you want for do. Why they go succumb yourself in a power again. If we know they try for set up this thing, the diaspora they sit down and try for force the leadership and whoever are responsible for take care of them today. We can't because we don't destroy credibility long time ago. Unfortunately. Yeah, now we go to Mr. Kabo.
Yeah, Mr. Mankosa, thank All right. Mom cannot save you, dad cannot save you, brother, sister, or whoever cannot save you. And I know people they talk about ventilators when at the final process in the COVID-19 treatment. In New York City or in hospitals in America, I'm trying to speak to the Sierra Leoneans that they also I don't get equipment, I don't get the poor. There's no medication. I repeat it. There's no study. 100% people or 100% of people in COVID, on ventilators, 100% dead. Some say when you put 10 people in a ventilator, 9 out of the 10, 1 will survive. Put 10 people in a ventilator, 9 people going to die. That is 1 survivor you hope. So in that kind of hope, basically, it's a blanket acceptance that ventilators are not the cure. So if Sierra Leone don't have ventilators, I don't see the you listen, you watch, you smell, you see, and you make your judgment. When you stay home, you follow the government rules and regulations. You don't politicize. You don't be that kind of splash. With a damn attitude, the possibility is that it's not 100% that
in terms of the coronavirus, the best protector is yourself. Now, Mr. Kabo, they try for talk. Now, Mr. Abdul, Ahmed, Kano, and Bami, they all they try for talk. The best protector yourself. Because you know what? Life not in a shop where you get for go buy. At least as of now, we're not able to buy life eggs. You know, And you see, you have the way get money self. If life we been in a shop for buy, then never been a lot of people they will get money, then don't pass away in this coronavirus. So protect yourself. Let's continue to stay home, and let's continue to pray and help the government for make them able to succeed. That's number one. Number two, it is time for let them sit down with them boys here for make them work out their own differences, for make them come with genuine reforms in the party. Otherwise, you guys are destroying this party. You guys are making for us some of we get future plans. Make them very difficult for we. Because the main purpose with some of we in our politics, we just want to make a difference to the lives of we Sierra Leonean brothers and sisters, and the country at large. So if the party were this hanky panky or yuki around, I know we feel fine. And we then the diaspora, like what Mbami say, we can still repair we credibility. It's very very hard. Because then say the opportunity is hard to regain, right? But it is not impossible. We'll be able to repair the destruction where we don't cause to we own credibility. And when I say destruction, not everybody in the diaspora are actually participants of this destruction. We get few, waiting, they call sycophants, where they care nothing but themselves. So therefore, then they use the entire diaspora and population for their own selfish end, and I need cause with today so.
No, it's not the people for laughing. You know the people laughing.
But I never
when they tell me to win an HSBC, then people can't. They're hypocrite, damn fools. You understand it? So I want to let them know. When we get the summit now, we in Ohio now, we will start. There's some of them, APC, and in America, they're not doing nothing for even put a summit together. When we don't make the summit, we don't get that money, we don't come up with ideas for let them do.
Even Mr. Abdul,
they ask for the money, and we APC USA executive voting and we get the money. We can take and go shape the bishop.
Well, I don't know about Shebam. I don't know about Shebam, but the summit was a good, effort for make we able to make reforms. And based on the summit, where the committees, the way them is set up, then suppose for we don't give we report them and then subcommittees and they to the committee. They suppose for make a report and to it till the minor no report, nothing.